Hello, everyone. It's great to be back with you again. Going into the Big Ten tournament, there were several questions still needing to be addressed for this Purdue team. First up, mid range jumpers are an Achilles heel for them. Can Purdue stop them? Double and triple teaming Zach Edey with no calls and having troubles passing out. Will that continue? Not making the wide open shots. Slump City from long range going into the tournament is not a good thing. And maybe the toughest one of all is big, tough guards who manhandle Purdue's freshman guards. Even with Zach Edey, it makes the offense run very rough and not smooth when they're pushed around. It could lead to more Jenkins play, it seems like. All right, these are just a few of my notes as we got into the tournament. I've kind of cut most of them down for the games just to give you a heads up of how things were going. Not every play, of course, but just some of the trends. That's how it went. Now, Purdue opened up with Rutgers. They're like a little bulldog type of team, and they had just beaten Michigan the day before. Purdue starts off the game missing two wide open threes, and both teams are a little haphazard at the beginning, giving the ball away with lots of energy on both sides. Now, this was, of course, Friday, like middle of the day. You would think some people might have even been sleeping, huh? But then basically Rutgers comes out really hot, going on a little streak, hitting like 5 shots in a row before Purdue counters with their own run and closing the game up. Now, Rutgers hit 4 threes in a very early to take that lead, and Purdue was still kind of cold from the outside, but kept picking away at it and chipping away at it, the lead until they actually got it by halftime, 29-28. So it was a good first half. First half stats were almost dead even as both teams shot right around 41 or 42%, and both teams had 6 turnovers. Purdue leads the rebound margin by 4 at this point. Now, Rutgers comes out in the second half, just like they did in the first half, and hits their first 4 shots. Purdue counters and has now shot 8 3-pointers in the second half and made 5 of them. That's how the game progressed. Fans aren't real happy, though, as Rutgers has gotten a few phantom calls. This seems to happen every game, but you know how that is with the fans, and we probably get some too if you're a Purdue fan. Unfortunately, the replays always seem to show that they are correct, and even the announcers agree that it was a missed call. But Rutgers called the timeout to try to stop the 3-point barrage Purdue was on, at least at that point, and after some of those plays. As the game winds down, though, it seems like maybe after getting the lead, Purdue never allows them to get any closer than, say, 5 points. I think it was 5 points, despite frantic attempts by Rutgers to close the game up. So the final is 70-65 for Purdue. And Rutgers put up a good battle, had a pretty good game plan, but they fouled too much, even though they got away with a lot of it. Now, that power game was negated by Purdue as they started shooting from the outside really effectively, especially in the second half. So that offset the hard play that was down low when they were kind of hacking and pulling around on Zach Edey, as most teams seem to do now. They get away with most of it, so you might as well keep doing it. Now to the second game against the streaking Ohio State Buckeyes. Hot shooting for both teams to start in this one, as Edey is not being doubled at all. So as soon as they do double Edey, which came fairly quickly, he passes for 2 easy slams for first. So you can see how it rebounded there. OSU has 5 threes at the 12:30 mark. Again, people out shooting crazy. Purdue has 3, though, and the score is 19-19. Now I was thinking there's no way the Buckeyes stay that hot. Probably because this was their 4th game in 4 days, right? Fatigue has to come in somewhere. Because, though, of a couple of offensive fouls by Purdue, Ohio State goes on a 13-4 run and hits 8 of 9 shots during that period. They're up 23-19 with 11 minutes left to go in the half. Both teams are shooting like 75%, so it's a great shooting game. At the under 8 break, OSU has hit 6 of 8 3-pointers and leads 29-23. But the replay going to commercial is off of a ZD dunk. Clearly, you can see the defender pulling his shirt, yet there's no call. Now, teams are still being allowed to shove or pull or Zach as he tries to move or shoot. Several awkward shots he put up as guys pushed him in the midsection without calls, and this is being taught to teams, and they now use it pretty much freely. On Smitty, though, he made a 2, and clearly you can see the OSU defender hook Zach's arm. So this was after a Smitty 2, and he pulled him to the floor. Now, a foul was called, but flashes of Haas going down came to mind. Purdue's up 31-29 with 3:51 left in the half. Finally, coming back from the commercial, they did call the foul flagrant. 2 shots and the ball back to Purdue. It could be a momentum switch is what I wrote down. And the announcers then talked about Haas. Again, nightmares for Boilermaker fans, right? Okay, so Purdue takes advantage, making both free throws and scoring a bucket to take back the lead. The teams trade made threes as OSU is 7 for 10 and Purdue is 4 for 5. Both teams are smoking hot from the outside. Jenkins hits another three just before the half, and the Boilermakers go into the locker room up 42-34, ending the half on a 21-5 run. After a blazing hot shooting early, OSU scored only 8 points in the last 10 minutes of the half, so that's where they kind of faltered down. Maybe it was fatigue, it's hard to say. But the first 10 minutes of the second half is all Purdue as they push the lead out to 15 points. A lot of missed close-in shots, though, for Purdue is what I saw, and OSU looked gassed, but still only 9 down with 8 minutes to play. They're still trying to stay in it. Ohio State gets closer on free throws, though. And at the 5-minute mark, both teams have scored only 21 points in the half. Purdue does, though, eventually grind it out for an 80-66 win. It's a gritty game for OSU, but not enough gas in the tank, I fear, after 4 games in 4 days. Game 3, though, is the championship game against Penn State, who has run over some good competition to get to the championship game. That was on Sunday. Now, Jalen Pickett, bam. Can you keep him in check? Quickly, into the game is what we want to see. Can you stop him? Penn State early hits 2 mid-range jumpers and takes a 4-0 lead after Purdue misses twice in close. Purdue quickly ties it up at 4, and then both teams start shooting bricks. Penn State looks like they wanted to be aggressive and forceful against Ziti, but that leads to 3 quick fouls on their big men. So Purdue comes out of the slump first of the 2 that were slumping, and it hits a 2 and a 3 and takes a 9-4 lead. Meanwhile, Pickett, just like he did in the last 2 games, constantly puts his forearm. He puts it up into the chest of the defender next to him, and no one ever calls him for it. I'm interested, this is what I wrote down, in seeing if they continue to allow that to happen. There's a timeout with 10:38 left in the half, and Purdue's 13-6, so kind of a slow game to start. Penn State has only scored 2 points in the last 8 minutes, and Purdue is all fenced in, and offense is working, but not really smoothly yet. Now, after Purdue gets up by 9 points, 3 trips in a row, Penn State makes 3-pointers, cutting the lead to 2. But Purdue responds quickly with 2 trays of their own and a deuce to get up by 10 with 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the half. Both teams started to heat up their shooting. Now, the under 8 break comes at 5 minutes and 27 seconds left, and Purdue's up 25-16. There have also been no free throws shot by either team so far in this game, and very few fouls called. Halftime score, though, they go in, it's 35-27 Purdue. And it sure seemed like through the entire half, when the teams missed their shots, they were awful misses and lots of dead bricks and long rebounds. One ball even got stuck in from the rim into the backboard. But the highlights of the half are Zach Edey with 15 points, 7 rebounds. Jenkins buddied up with Zach with 11 points. Now, you got to love sometimes when the announcers call it exactly as it is on a foul was called against Purdue down low. And it appeared to be great defense. And on the other end, a 3-pointer where the guy hit the hand of the shooter and there was no call. This is how we got into the second half. So the trend of missing open shots from long range has now continued for Purdue, and we're getting these weird calls from some of the officials. They're 5 for 20 on threes, Purdue is. Most of them have been wide open. Now, with 14 minutes left and in the half, Purdue is still up 43-38, so still kind of close. Penn State has closed it up a bit on their free throw shooting. Penn State only had 3 3-pointers during that one quick stretch in the first half. Since then, nothing. So the long ball has been ugly in this game so far. Now, Ziti goes to the bench at the 10-minute mark, already having another double-double. Purdue slowly pushes the lead out to 17 with 6 minutes left. And it seems like it's over, right? So Penn State runs off 9 straight points, ending with a foul where one of their players ran over Braden Smith. Smitty, he was called for the offensive foul as he was run over, pushed into the other guy. The crowd went crazy when the replay was shown on the big board. Oh, the referees have gotten whistle happy now is what I wrote next. Penn State keeps scoring without any time going off the clock. They're on a 13-2 run now, and anytime a Purdue guy gets near a Penn State player, whoop, here come the whistle. Then they call a foul. The crowd was livid. All right, so Penn State cuts to 4 on 2 more free throws. Finally, Coach Painter puts Zach Edey back in, who is then triple covered, but somehow no foul is called when he gets a bucket, right? But as soon as you get near somebody on the other end. So the frantic comeback fails, but the sloppy play down the stretch almost cost the Boilermakers the win. And I really have to wonder about some of the decisions made there. Purdue's defense forced Penn State into 3 or 4, maybe 5-minute droughts during the game. and that was their undoing. I also have to question why you put ZD on the bench, allowing a wild comeback. You may have been up big, but you still had to watch out for it. I also noticed some of you out there thought the same exact thing on Twitter. Now, the Nittany Lions hit 4 of their last 5 shots, while Purdue hits only 1 of their last 8. And that closed it up to 1 point, but Purdue still ended up winning the game. All right. ZD ends with 30 and 13. Wow. Jenkins has 11, Gillis 10. But Big Ten champions, Big Ten tournament champions, and now a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament they have. No one, and I repeat, no one saw this coming other than maybe the team and the families around them themselves, who always think their team can do great things. Well, this team has, so let's hope it's not the end of that. It's been a great run. That's it for this time. I'll see you the next time around during the NCAA tournament.